we've all been there, right? Like you hit a groove and everything just seems to click, work's good, life's good, you're basically unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also when things can get, well, kind of tricky.
That's true.
Because how do you keep a level head when you're on a winning streak? How do you stay at the top of your game without letting it, go to your head? That's what we're diving into today.
Absolutely. And we've got some really interesting material to dig into, especially when it comes to making smart decisions, even when you feel invincible.
Speaking of, this line from our research really jumped out at me. Don't let a winning streak make you trade dumb.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
Right. It's such a simple statement, but man, is it packed with wisdom. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it highlights something that's so easy to overlook when things are going well, which is the importance of emotional intelligence.
Oh, 100%.
Because you'd think success would lead to good decisions, right?
Right.
But actually, it can be a recipe for disaster if we're not careful.
It's like that overconfidence creeps in. Suddenly, you're not just winning, you're on a whole other level, and you start taking bigger risks because, hey, why not?
Exactly. And that's when those dumb trades happen, whether it's in our investments, our relationships, even just our day-to-day choices.
Because we're so focused on riding that wave of success that we forget to, actually think things through.
Yeah. We let emotions cloud our judgment. We start to think that winning streak will last forever, so we take our foot off the gas, or worse, we get reckless.
It's like that saying, pride comes before the fall.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so it's not about being afraid of success or shying away from opportunities when we're on a roll.
No, not at all.
It's more about recognizing when we're making decisions based on, ego versus strategy.
100%. And that applies to so many different areas of life. Like, imagine you're killing it at work, crushing every deadline, exceeding expectations.
Been there.
Right. And then a new opportunity pops up, a big project, maybe even a promotion. It's tempting to jump in head first, thinking I can handle it, no problem.
But you haven't really stopped to think about whether it aligns with your long-term goals or if you even have the bandwidth to take it on.
Right. And suddenly you're spread too thin, you're stressed, and that winning streak starts to feel more like a burden than a blessing.
And I think that's something we can all relate to, even in smaller everyday situations.
Absolutely.
Whether it's, pushing ourselves too hard at the gym because we feel invincible.
Or overcommitting to social events because we think we can handle it all.
Yes. Or even something like deciding to learn a complex new skill in a ridiculously short amount of time because, hey, we're on a roll.
It's so easy to get caught up in that momentum. But the key is, like you said, how do we stay grounded? How do we make sure we're still making smart decisions, even when we're feeling unstoppable?
Right. So what are some practical things that we can do? Because it's easy to say, don't get cocky, but how do we actually put that into practice?
Well, one of the most effective strategies I've found is having a set of predetermined criteria for decision-making. It's like having a checklist that you consult no matter what.
Ooh, I like that. A checklist for success. So it's like before we even get swept up in the excitement of a potential win or a new opportunity, we have a system in place to evaluate it objectively.
Precisely. It helps you take a step back from those emotions and look at things more rationally.
So give me an example. How would this work in, say, a financial situation?
Sure. Let's say you're thinking about making an investment. You've had a few good wins recently, so you're feeling pretty confident.
Danger zone.
Exactly. But instead of just going with your gut, you pull out your checklist. And this could include things like doing your own independent research, maybe setting a maximum loss limit that you're comfortable with, or even consulting with a financial advisor to get an outside perspective.
So it's like having those preset rules in place acts as a buffer, helping you avoid those impulsive decisions that you might regret later. It's like having a coach in your corner reminding you to stick to the game plan, even when you're tempted to, freestyle.
I love that analogy. And it's not just about avoiding those dumb moves either. It's also about maximizing the learning opportunities that come with success.
Ooh, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's easy to just bask in the glory of a win without really analyzing why we were successful.
Oh, for sure. We just want to celebrate and move on to the next big thing.
Right. But if we take the time to actually review our successes, to break down the why behind the win, then we can start to identify patterns and replicate those strategies in the future.
So we're turning that winning streak into a continuous learning curve. Instead of just riding the wave, we're figuring out how to surf it, strategically.
I like that. And sometimes the most valuable thing you can do during a winning streak is to seek out a different perspective.
Oh, tell me more about that. Because sometimes it feels like when we're on a roll, we have all the answers.
I know. But even when it seems like we've got it all figured out, a fresh pair of eyes can offer insights that we might have missed.
That's a fantastic point to end on, because it's that reminder that no matter how successful we become, there's always more to learn.
Absolutely.
And sometimes a little humility and a willingness to listen to those around us can be the key to making that winning streak last. Well, this has been a great conversation, wouldn't you say? I know I learned a lot. Thanks for diving in with us.
My pleasure.
And for those of you listening, remember, ride that wave of success, enjoy those victories, but don't underestimate the power of staying humble, staying focused, and maybe even having that checklist handy. Until next time.